Yo, you are watching or listening to Trip Off This. Welcome to another episode. It's a podcast show where we talk about wild things for you to trip off. Music, politics, games, tech, science. I don't know if I already said that or not, but we're talking about whatever we want to talk about. Thank you for joining us. Also, shout out to WCTV for giving us this dope space. The people behind the camera working hard. We appreciate all of it. Yo, I'm going to start with the worst type of commercial ever is what? Go. Are you
Insurance?
ready? Ooh, insurance? That's a great guess. Related, I'm going to say the worst type of commercial ever is the family-owned car dealership commercial, bro.
Oh, okay.
Like the one where like the youngest child in this family always makes the corny punchline. Like it's always loosely sports referenced. You know what I mean? Like they're always like throwing a football to each other and catching it and being like, come down and catch some great deals this Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And they have like a kid who's like too old to still be considered universally cute, like deliver the punchline of like a really bad joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, who sees a commercial like that and is like, I gotta get down to Bach Toyota, bro. Like I gotta get all these deals.
You're right. I think those might be the
have to be the worst.
And they happen a lot. Like you actually get those kind of commercials quite a bit. Cause I feel like selling cars is a weird industry.
I feel like you get those commercials consecutively.
Yeah.
Like you'll get one for Ernie Bach Toyota, and then the very next commercial is a completely different family, like playing wiffle ball in a liquor store, telling you to like come check out their deals. It's like they're all the same, dude.
And they're all family owned. It's like you could go to any state and get like these weird different fake names of people with ridiculous. What is it? Bernie Bach?
Ernie Bach. Ernie Bach's like the biggest car dealer family in Massachusetts. It's just bizarre. And again, like, you know what's else is so super annoying about it is how like they always cut to like the stock manufacturing footage of it like driving down a country road or like an icy path. Like it's clearly cut from something so completely separate. Yeah. Like, dude, why not just videotape a car that you have on your lot?
They want it to look super legit.
But it looks too legit. It doesn't match. It sticks out like a sore thumb next to your 13-year-old daughter like doing a cartwheel by a Camry. Like
that's true.
It's just the worst type of commercials, and they're never funny. I've never seen one and was like, that was actually a good joke. Like they're literally always terrible. It's dad humor. Maybe that's the demographic though.
Dads.
Yeah.
I mean, who's buying cars?
Dads.
There you go.
And so they put corny dad jokes
into it,
so that the dad's like, huh.
I don't know. I
gotta get down there and get me into it.
I feel like the legit car commercials might be worse in a way.
Wow.
Because it's always like it'll be like an ASMR video almost. It'll be like someone inside of a car. They're going down a tunnel. You like hear. They like grip the steering wheel extra tight.
Yeah, they are. Damn.
You see the blue lights from the dash on their face. They look down. They see that they got like a new text. It's one of the new cars.
It zooms in on the back of their neck and like their hair's raising. Like, literally, I don't know what's worse. Wow, the local family-owned car commercial or the ASMR.
And it's just like
luxury.
Live free.
Yeah.
No limits.
Yeah. Or you know what else is good too is when Dodge is just like, get down here for these MLK, Martin Luther King Day deal busters. And I'm like, I didn't know Martin Luther King was out here advocating for affordable pickup trucks. And
I know, right?
Like, what? These two things are good. Like,
they're just using it for a sale, essentially.
And who is like, it's MLK. You know the dealerships be having good deals on MLK weekend. Like, it's just so weird, bro. I mean, maybe because we're just not at that dad level. Like, we don't fit that demographic. We're not mid-30s.
Damn.
Dads who like need to be buying.
Remember that show? It was like Codename Kid Next Door.
I do remember that show. Kids. I do remember.
And it's like
show.
You get to a certain age and then they like kick you the fuck out and you like don't remember.
Like almost like.
I feel like it has to be something on that level for me to suddenly get these commercials because right now they make no sense.
No sense at all.
Like they aren't. I don't know. I see a lot of commercials and I'm just like, wow, I'm thoroughly convinced to just not care anymore about this product.
Yeah, it's even
I
crazier
feel like
too.
They only work on older people maybe.
Well, it's like, it's something, I don't know, it's something weird about, like, when you advertise on, like, a TV network or something, I feel like you have the advantage because, like, people are going to stick around and watch the ad. Mm. As to, like, think about how fast people, like, scroll on their phone. Like, whatever your Instagram advertisement is or your Twitter advertisement or whatever it is, like, you literally have, like, maybe less, like, around a second or a second and a half to, like, make someone click a link. Make someone stop their scroll.
They started some new on Instagram with ads. So this is specifically for games. I've been getting this a lot where it's just like a video, like a screen cap video of somebody playing the game awfully. Like just like they're just being shit at whatever game it is, and it's just like so frustrating.
Right. And
they're just annoying you into getting.
They end the ad with like, "Can you beat this high score?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Download here. Like.
Damn. Yeah. Remember old banner ads that were like fake ass games?
Oh,
where it was,
shit!
Like targets.
Yeah, like sniping a guy.
And be like, shoot this thing and win an iPhone.
Yeah. I always wonder, dude. Like, how many clicks is like the worst type of ads getting? I'm talking about an ad that like you see on the bottom of like an article. That's like the top. You'll never believe what these 25 celebs look like now, and it's like clearly a Photoshop like dense Macaulay Culkin or something. Like it's like who? How many people are actually clicking on that?
That's
very few, right? I'd imagine, but then also like how are they still there?
It was so blatant. It was just like it was the 3D rendering of the person like keeled over like that, and then there's the red like waves coming off of them, and it was just, are you dying? Click here to find out. It's like it wasn't even a disease or anything particular.
Are you dying? Yes.
Click on that.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure like the pie chart between like people who click those ads on an article and like people who buy the National Enquirer are like a circle.
Yeah.
Like
you're probably right.
It is probably like the same, you know, a very small percentage of the population. But I don't know. Like I also think about sometimes like we're just laughing and joking about all these insidious practices that happen on the internet, and like it's kind of unfair.
Predatory sometimes even.
Yeah, and it's unfair because we're like young and we're raised in this shit. Like if you're a 70-year-old person, like these predatory behaviors are like potentially ruining your life. Like if you're a 70-year-old person that doesn't understand that like clicking this ad saying the top 25 celebs look ugly now is going to like brick your computer. Mm-hmm. Like we're laughing and joking about like, oh, these things are so stupid, how does anyone click them? But like there's definitely like
there are people who actually click them, that's why they exist.
Yeah, there's a 68-year-old guy named like Greg in Minnesota who's had to repair his computer 3 times because
he keeps clicking on these ads.
He keeps clicking on these absolutely idiotic ads at the bottom of World Star or some shit. Like So I mean we are kind of like cracking fun and making jokes, but it is kind of
when you propose that we do about it.
I propose.
Where do you think the people who make these ads are based out of? Do you think it's
not
like
America? I feel like
it has to be like, well, that's true. That's a whole rabbit hole. I haven't researched this one.
Yeah, at this point we're just speculating, which probably we shouldn't do. Maybe, like you said,
that being said, China.
How do you remove predatory practices on social media and advertising online? That is a deep question, and I have to seriously think about it. Especially because it seems like a problem that would only affect, like, more likely to affect older people.
Yeah, it's true.
What are you gonna say?
Well, then you could say that like a YouTuber taking on just like a shitty sponsorship and like lying about it a bunch, like in their videos to an audience that. Dude, maybe young or this or that.
Dude, I just thought of the funniest thing. You know how, like, if you're a bad driver, old in age, you can get, like, your license taken away?
Yeah.
You reach a certain age, you should have to take a internet test, right? And the internet test should be, like, downloading an MP3 of, like, an older rap song. Where, like, you had to click, like, a zip share, and there was, like, 4 different things that say download now, download here.
Oh, my God.
Download MP3, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like an eye chart test.
Exactly. Like, if you can't download...
all these downloads, yeah.
Right, if you can't determine which is the real download link when you're trying to download, like, Soulja Boy, Kiss Me Through the Phone on MP3, you probably shouldn't be on the internet.
I feel that.
Well, that seems...
Soulja Boy probably shouldn't be on the internet.
Soulja Boy invented the internet, first of all, and is a pioneer. Is actually the Michelangelo.
The Michelangelo.
Of the internet age.
Hell yeah. He's got watches. He's got phones.
Tell me about his video game consoles. Did he basically put a Soulja Boy logo on like a Nintendo Wii and brand it as like
no, it's not
his
that
own
legit.
console? It's not that legit?
No, it's
How
like
is it
a
less legit than
knockoff.
that?
It's like an emulator. Do you know? Like,
yeah, okay.
You can like emulate old games. It's just like an emulator that's loaded up with a bunch of old ROMs, which is like, you know, like old games. So it's like you go in it and there's over 200 games on it. It's not for sale anymore, but you go. It's it has like Mario rips. It has Star Fox. It has like PlayStation 2 games. But if you wanted this console, you can go pay $100 less for it on AliExpress.
Yeah.
He didn't even put like a special logo on it or nothing. It's like literally the same console.
The same emulator.
The same product photos, the same everything.
See, but this is the genius of Soulja Boy though.
Okay.
You understand that your name holds weight. And that you're willing to tie it to a
It's
product.
like Beats by Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
Exactly the same.
What's the difference between Beats and Sennheiser? Nothing but Dr. Dre's affiliation.
And that Sennheiser are probably better.
Exactly.
But people still like the Beats. Damn.
Now, I'm not saying this emulator, this Soulja Boy video game console. What was it called?
I don't know, Soulja Box or something like that.
The Soulja Box.
I really don't.
My god.
I don't even know.
Yo, that's hilarious.
I know it was like Soulja Watch, Soulja Phone, so just following his naming system.
Imagine meeting somebody and they just like wear the Soulja shoes.
Just decked out. Like they're Yeezys.
And they're just not saying, they're not even like making it a deal. They're not bringing it up in conversation, but they got the Soulja phone.
Damn, that's a power move.
Having the whole Soulja lineup. Damn. And just rocking it with like a mad
I hope when you
team.
turn on the Soulja Boy phone, it's like,
yo!
just plays the crank that.
And it's like, I hope Soulja Boy's like your voicemail.
Yeah.
Like, by default, it's just like, hey, what up? This Soulja Boy, tell him. Your boy can't answer the phone right now.
That'd be worth it. It's probably not that though.
No, I mean, I'm not, like, what is this thing doing? Like piggybacking on like other cell towers from like other reputable phone providers? If you get
it's just a phone, like you can just hook it up with a
like
SIM card to
Verizon.
Yeah, or whatever.
Wow.
Probably.
We're living in the future, man. That's crazy.
Damn. When we pop off with this podcast, whatever that means, everybody's getting Soulja watches.
Soulja watches for the whole
team. Everybody behind
iced
the
out
scene.
with Soulja watches. The Superman. Yo, so we're on what? Day what of the government shutdown? Government shutdown, trip off this podcast show, still rolling. Still cranking out.
We don't shut down.
No.
We only film one.
I think we're on, what, like day 27 or something?
That sounds right.
Let's just call it right.
Yeah. Day 27.
Day 27.
They won't know. It could be true.
This is the longest little partial government shutdown in U.S. history.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
Shout out, I guess, to everyone personally affected, not getting a paycheck. Fam,
That's ridiculous.
If my boss told me...
I'm in the streets.
...to come in and just be like, oh, I'll get you eventually.
Probably not, though.
Yeah, I might get you back eventually. You know what else is crazy? I heard, like, Secret Service agents aren't being paid.
That's wild. They're going to let him get got.
It kind of feels that way. But also, how much do you think a Secret Service agent makes?
They do. They guard the president, but they also deal with counterfeit money.
Dude, I saw something that said the average Secret Service agent makes like $70,000 a year.
Damn.
I was like, that's not a lot.
Yeah, for a job like that, you'd think it would be a little.
Because I would say, I mean, I guess not though.
It's not really a high danger job, I guess.
Exactly. Like you're way more likely to die as a police officer.
Who knows what kind of paperwork that is, though?
Being a Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
Also, just like that must suck. That must be so boring. If you're like a guard, I guess. Also, it's just such a bootlicker job, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Nah, Border Patrol. I get Border Patrol ads on Instagram. They're trying to get me from Instagram to go move down to New Mexico and stop people from crossing the border. The ad is just a dude driving on an ATV in the desert. Like, you can protect your country and see the border.
See, in my ideal American society, there's still ads like that, but as soon as you like apply, we just add your name to a watch list. And like we'll just say we'll email you, but we just never get back to you. And you're just on a watch list because you might be a maniac. I can't imagine in 2019 like what type of person is like, dude, I just really want to like join ICE. Like, I can't imagine what type of person is like, yeah, I just really want to, like, work for the government.
Not the kind of people we'd hang out with.
I'd
They're
imagine.
definitely out there, though.
I'd imagine.
They probably think Ben Shapiro's pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, I would 100% agree with that assessment. They definitely do. I also feel like the shutdown isn't going to end anytime soon.
That would be wild. It's just going to stay shut down for the rest of the... What about that whole burger thing? What were your thoughts on that?
He getting
fast food for the football teams or whatever.
I feel like it's just such a cheap distraction.
It is. It is a hella cheap distraction.
I feel like it's such a cheap distraction.
I think it's like something about seeing fast food stacked up on silver platters next to ornate golden candlesticks that are like feet tall. Yeah. I don't know.
Lincoln was rolling in his grave. You know what else was hilarious too?
It's just
dude, I saw the funniest.
All American though.
All American. I saw America First. I saw a picture of him, dude, that was so funny. It was him standing in front of the table with all the McDonald's on it, and it was like, this looks like when the police do a drug bust and lay out all the busted on the table. This looks like he just like busted the Hamburglar, and there was like, it looked like.
He definitely likes all that food. Like he was. Why are people pissed about this? Like I fucking love Wendy's.
It's just such a cheap distraction to much more serious issues. Like
it definitely is.
And I get it. It like tries to. It's an attempt to strike a chord with the average McDonald's eating man, which is like the average. Like
the way he's like, yeah, it's a political move by McDonald's as well. Like he totally could have just got nice food and it would have been nothing, but he got. It's saying we have to get McDonald's for these kids. They're probably our age, but these people who are
college students.
Yeah. We have to get it because of the Democrats. He literally says that at one point, like, the shutdown, we need border security.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Everything's political to him, though. Like, remember when he went to the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, and he just started ranting about
like Hillary.
His political...
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, dude, you're giving a speech to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
The message of the speech should be, like, follow your dreams.
No, the message of the speech
Democrat
Hillary.
Yeah, lock Hillary up. Like... It's just
gotta start them young.
See, like, have you done any research on like previous government shutdowns though? Like maybe we're just overreacting. Like let's not get caught in our own echo chamber here. Let's reach out. Like,
well, in fact, I have.
Like, what are has there been any other shutdowns about like specific budgets? Like obviously there was some during the Obama administration, but that was for like healthcare, not like a racist monument.
So there's I would put it into two categories almost. Like there's federal government shutdowns, which is like a very specific thing that started happening in the 80s with Ronald Reagan. He's the first one who ever did it. Okay. But then there's like times when the government has like just stopped working, and it's not been like a shutdown, but it's like right now the government is not working. Like it's not doing what a government should. So it's like you should look at those two things separately. But for the government shutdowns, it's like you can pull up a list on Wikipedia of it. It's like there's a little chart, and it just shows you. It's like Ronald Reagan, all these different shutdowns, and it's just essentially it gets more and more for longer periods of time. So like it kind of looks like there's a trajectory almost, especially now with Donald Trump making it so long. Like Obama, didn't he have 17 days?
Something like that. Like he had a second and third longest.
It was for completely different reasons, but it's so. If a government shutdown's like when nothing's agreeing, essentially.
They can't agree on a budget.
The first time that the government essentially stopped working was 1841. President William Henry Harrison was just elected.
Okay.
And he was from the Whig Party, which was essentially, this went down a whole rabbit hole, but the Whigs were essentially formed out of the hatred for, what's the guy on on the like $20 bill or something. It was head. Jackson. Yeah, they were pretty much formed out of the hatred for Jackson's policies, and they didn't really have any cohesive platforms, or whatever. But in 1841, they finally got their chance. They got a candidate in. They had control of Congress, so they would have been able to push forward all their they've been wanting to get down all their platform policies of higher tariffs and a new national bank, which we don't have. We don't have a national bank. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't really looked into it.
Right.
But we don't have one. And funding for roads and bridges and canals and like that. They wanted to build. I think it's it might have even been funding for the Cape Cod Canal. Don't quote me on that though. If not, it was the New York one. But so dude gets into office, kicks the bucket immediately, and his vice. So this is a weird thing that they used to do. They would have a vice president who was the opposite of them, and they would say it's to diversify the ticket and try to pull votes from all over the place.
That's not a bad idea.
Unless the president dies, and then you have the new VP, who is now the president, is just going to block every single thing, and he became the most veto-using person up to that time. Okay. I looked it up, and the most ever was Franklin Roosevelt. He's 361 vetoes or some crazy
shit. That's insane.
It was a lot of vetoes.
Every piece of legislation that comes across his desk.
I feel like they passed something after him to make it so that couldn't happen anymore, because I feel like it would have just continued going up and up.
Right.
But the only thing that forced any kind of financial change to happen was the threat of the government just not paying people anymore. So then they finally got their reforms through or whatever, and he got voted out again as soon as the next election came around. Then the next time that the government really stopped working was another death. This one was a little more popular. Abraham Lincoln. When he died, his vice president was a war Democrat, essentially, and did not believe in equal rights for black people or any of that high-minded nonsense. Yeah. He kind of just wanted things. He fiercely fought against it, and then essentially the same thing happened where the government stopped agreeing, and the very next election, he got voted out. The next time the government stopped working was I think his name was Woodrow Wilson or something like that.
Woodrow, shout out to Woodrow. Name your kid in 2019.
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson, 1919.
Name him Woodrow.
He had a series of strokes, and then his wife convinced the doctor to not tell the public how serious things were. So nobody knew that he was kind of incapacitated. Apparently whatever happened to him made him a lot more paranoid. He cut off, he wouldn't talk to people. And if the president is in that kind of state, government shuts down. He gets voted out next office, next time. And then the final one is pretty obvious, it's Nixon. He got elected, he was pretty popular when he got elected, then Watergate happened. And then he gets voted out in the next election. Yeah. So essentially, what I'm getting to is every single time
his administration gets voted out, basically.
Yeah, essentially. Well, him himself.
Didn't he resign?
Did he resign?
I thought he resigned. Shame.
Oh yeah, he might have resigned to avoid impeachment. That
exactly.
Would make a lot of sense.
And then I think his vice president might have took over, and then that administration.
Every single time the government shuts down to the extent that it is right now, the person gets voted out the very next time, because it's never they shut down the government and then they started getting along with Congress real good. This is not a sign that things are going to improve ever. He's just going to continue being petulant, most likely.
Yeah.
Unprofessional.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a complicated situation.
Yeah.
But
it definitely is.
Definitely shouldn't be happening. And I feel like there's absolutely no responsibility on the Democrats who are in power right now when it comes to ending this shutdown. Obviously.
Giving in to Trump to give him a wall, essentially.
At this point, I just don't see it happening. And I think he has no way out to come out of this politically looking as strong as I guess he went into it. But who knows? We're what are we, coastal elites?
Yeah, we're coastal elites.
We're
soy boys.
Think we're better than everyone?
Yeah.
I guess. Listen, I'm broke. I ain't better than no one, okay? I'm the same as everyone else. And that's something crazy about American politics is I feel like we could be so unified if we just realized that, we're all poor.
Yeah.
then like that would like we should be able to I guess come together on how poor the
I
majority
definitely
of us
feel like
are.
economic issues are a way better rallying cry
Than anything
any
else.
other kind
Anything
of
else.
social issue.
Like,
Because I feel like if we could figure out economic issues, then social issues would almost fall into place, like, obviously. Because a lot of this stuff is
Rather
like,
quickly.
damn, why isn't it already like this? A lot of it's because of poverty and stuff like that.
right.
So if it's poor people fighting poor people, nothing's ever going to get done.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
fight the rich.
exactly. Exactly. Fight, then kill,
Oh,
then
shit.
eat.
Did you hear about
Kind of.
Jeff Bezos divorcing
Yeah.
and his wife getting
Cheated on
divorced?
his wife.
Is that what happened?
I think so, with one of his billionaire friends' wives.
Damn.
And he also didn't have a prenup, that I read.
That's not a good move, I guess.
I mean, I guess, honestly, like, at that point...
They're
like,
splitting the wealth. She's gonna,
she's walking
in
with,
the
like...
snap of a finger, become the wealthiest woman in the world.
Yeah, I mean, maybe... This is the thing, though. Like, I was actually looking this up. I wanted to see who were the biggest land owners in America. And there's, like, a few ranch owners that own, like, 4 Rhode Islands worth of land, right? And I was just thinking, like, yo, like... If you're Jeff Bezos, maybe you don't even care that you didn't sign a prenup because, like, yeah, you're going to be left with, like, $70 billion and, like, you can't spend that. Like,
Yeah, so we should just go get it.
well, it's just, like, how can one person spend that much money? Like, I understand you want to have, like, a private jet.
It's
You
an
wanna have 10
addiction. They're
private
just
jets?
addicted to making money. They stopped being able to spend it all on realistic things after, like, $10 million. Like, they're just... addicted, like a rat who can just eat as much sugar water as he wants, getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter until it f***ing dies.
That's a great analogy. Yo, you want to hear something funny? How about this? You think, you ever heard the conspiracy theory that birds are government drones?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, tell me why you ain't seen a bird since
I
the
haven't
government
seen one
since the
bird.
government shut down.
One bird.
Where the
send me a
birds
picture
at?
of a bird.
I ain't seen a bird in 2 weeks.
I
don't want to hear that it's winter. I don't want to hear that they migrated.
Where'd
I
they
ain't
go?
seen a winter bird in 27 days. They're protesting.
Then when the
They're on
government comes
strike.
back, all of a sudden there's birds.
Exactly.
Like
When the
nothing
government
happened.
comes
Like
back
nothing
on, I
happened.
bet you see a bird out your window. Bet you see a bird land.
That's
land
how
in
I'm
the
gonna
parking
know.
lot.
When the government's back, I'm not gonna watch any news. I'm just gonna hear birds chirping.
Exactly.
And be like, oh, okay.
They back watching again. They got their drones up again. Yeah, you know what's crazy too? I don't know if we've ever had this
That the
conversation.
FDA isn't like checking stuff anymore.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I don't know if we've ever talked about this, dude, but like, speaking of birds, like, where do you stand
On birds.
on birds?
In general, I'm against
Well,
them.
I was gonna say, before we even get to what I was about to say, let's just stay on birds for a minute,
Okay.
right? This is a topic I've been wanting to breach on this podcast for quite some time. And I was tripping off the domestication of animals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I feel that.
And I was thinking, like, damn, it's kind of crazy how, like, we just, you know, enslave animals,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was thinking, like, damn, but some of it's kind of dope because we, like, it made us more advanced, right?
Yeah.
You know what the dopest bit of, of animal slavery is?
What's that?
Yo, carrier pigeons.
Oh,
The fact that we domesticated.
that's wild.
Trip off a carrier pigeon for a minute, right? We're talking about a bird
Yep.
that you can tie
Notes too and
notes to, and these things, I looked it up. They will travel over 1,000 miles. Like, I know a lot of people say, like, oh yeah, if birds were smart, they'd take over the world or whatever, but like, there is maybe no other animal on Earth where you could do that.
What do you mean? Travel over that? They got like magnets
could-
in their brain or something.
Exactly. But how is their brain magnetism essentially oriented to wherever they grew up? Like, that you could literally send them well, here's the thing. I looked them up.
Mm-hmm. Birds.
Carrier pigeons.
Oh, word.
Messenger birds. Ravens.
Gotcha.
Send a raven. Like Game of Thrones type. Send
Hell
a
yeah,
raven.
hell yeah.
I was like, damn. I was just thinking about that, like, just in my crib, like, damn, it's kind of wild how they ever did that. How did they do that? And then I just went down the rabbit hole, right? And, like, first of all, when you raise, like, a carrier pigeon, like, where you where they're born is their home location, right? So like if I wanted to send a carrier pigeon to you, essentially, like I would have to raise them at my house, drive them or give them to you by hand, and then like it only works one way.
So they only
know how to come home. I can't send them to a destination. So like back in the day, basically, exactly. So basically, if you had a family that had 2 castles that were 300 miles apart, you would raise groups of pigeons or ravens at each castle, and then at some point you would drive them via buggy or horseback or whatever to the opposite castle with like some sort of marker or signification of which castle they were raised at, and then you could send them back and forth.
So it would bring you then do you have to bring them back by hand every time?
Essentially, yes. We're talking about the 1300s here. Like
it's good. It's definitely better than what they had before, but that is not as convenient as Game of Thrones makes it look.
Not at all. Because again,
it's one way.
It's one way, and then they have to be exchanged by hand. Here's
think about how fucked up that is. It's like it just wants to go home all the time.
All it wants to do is just go back to its
you gotta
house.
go live at this other place
until they're ready to be like, yo.
And it's like there for a day, and it's like, all right, gotta get it back.
Yeah, and like also like imagine just how like we just take texting for granted, but like how trash would it be to be like the young dude in one castle and there's a bad little chick in the other castle, and you're like, damn, I gotta holla at her. So you like get a little quill in your feather and you're like, yo ma, what's good? You have like the wild 2007 AIM conversation through your pigeons. Like you put in like, yo, what up? You send it. 3 months later, you get a pigeon back with a different markation on it, and it just says like NMJCU.
I know.
You're just like, oh damn.
That's why everything was so eloquent.
You just write like ASL. Boom. send that pigeon off, get it back, and she's like, I mean, in this time it would have been like. I'm not even gonna dig into what the ASL probably is, but
no, man.
For somebody living in that time period, but yeah, it's just crazy. And also, again, they traveled thousands of miles, but it's crazy that like you can still to this day, like this is something that people still do. They still have like competitions and like races where they just like tie something and they're just like, yo, first one home wins, boom, and they just like go and see who can travel like the furthest distances, and that has to be the single most incredible bit of domestication. Like when you compare a carrier pigeon though to like a cow pulling a tractor.
I was just gonna say there's a lot more work than a cow. Like a cow, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, getting the cow to do.
Exactly, but how did you teach the carrier pigeon?
Yeah, who figured that out?
Who befriended a pigeon and realized that they had this ability? Yeah. Also, how does that even... It's so weird that they would even evolve to have that ability. Like, I was thinking, I was reading
fish
some shit.
Swim home.
True. And they have, like, migratory patterns.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was reading this article about, like, obviously, like, bits of human evolution that are still in us, yo. And it was crazy. Everyone knows, like, oh, yeah, we all still have tails because we have a tailbone. Like, that's remnants of evolution, basically. Mm-hmm. Yo, I heard one that would trip me out. Yo, you know the little pink muscle on the inside of your eye? Like, on the inside corner of your eye?
Yeah.
You know what that used to be?
What?
It used to be another eyelid that would close your eye this way. Like, if you look at birds and, like, reptiles that have... Like, it's the same muscle when they have eyelids that close this way.
Damn.
As, like, a protective shield.
I want that back.
That would be so disturbing.
It would... If everyone had it, it wouldn't be. And imagine, like, you could just still see, but you wouldn't have to worry about stuff getting in your eyes.
Yeah, that actually would be lit. Also, another crazy one too is like like they say in like the sensation of like feeling like you're falling when you're about to fall asleep and like jolting awake. Mm-hmm. Like that's just left over from when we were primates in trees.
Couldn't even fall out.
Yeah, like a ton of us were falling out of trees, so we eventually like developed this sensation that like the slightest bit of like losing your balance makes you jolt and grab.
Damn.
Because in theory you were
that just made me ape have this thought that
grabbing onto a branch.
From you or me or anyone.
Okay.
There's an unbroken chain.
Okay.
Of you to something that was not alive.
What?
If you take it all the way back, like, because we're alive.
We're alive.
So like we used to be monkeys way back in the day.
Yes.
Before that, the monkeys were fish or whatever, and then like you just keep going back and back. Then it's like a one cell thing, and then it's something that wasn't alive. So there's an unbroken chain from us to a rock or some shit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
Wild to think about that. Like it's
true.
Unbroken chain. Like
at some point
you made
nothing.
Like there wasn't at one point like, all right, I'm just gonna make a new, unless you believe in God or something.
Unless you're just religious, then you just think something else.
Yeah, then you think I'm so full of right now.
Yeah, you just think this is the most delusional, wrong conversation you've ever heard in your life, and maybe it is, but I guess that the other explanation is just as hard to believe.
Yeah, it's not as fun for me.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if you just wanted to have fun with it, I would just believe in like.
What do you think the funnest religion is?
Biblical Christianity, where like Moses was like 800 years old when he split the Red Sea, like when he split the ocean. Like we're talking about a time period where I'm pretty sure in like Deuteronomy and people are living to hundreds of years old.
I think Hinduism is probably the like funnest, like coolest religion.
Coolest like origin story.
Yeah, like that. Like it's wild. Everybody's fighting each other. They have like 9 heads. They're throwing fireballs. It's like Dragon Ball Z or something. Wild.
I'm pretty sure like Confucianism has like a good start too. Like
that's pretty good. It's not nearly the character development in Confucianism is not nearly the level of Hinduism.
Yeah,
they've had way more time. Oldest religion too.
Yeah, true. Like they have a real
in some form.
They have a fleshed out story. There's really no gaps in the
Yeah,
plot.
they really like Marvel could make it pretty sick.
Isn't it crazy that the Pope just rides around in just thick ass bulletproof glass?
Isn't it crazy that the Pope is, speaking of like unbroken change to the past, like this thing that's been around since Roman times, and we still give a fuck about it.
And we still honor it. It's so weird.
I was at a funeral with like a Catholic ceremony, so they were doing all kinds of crazy I've never seen before.
Okay.
Like they had incense and they were like throwing around like census bearer stuff and lighting candles and blowing them out, and like they were singing songs, but then this other guy was like quietly like doing spells over the like ashes or something, and it's just like he's like mumbling to it and then kisses it and then it's just like it's wild, and I'm just thinking about how much more this used to mean, like how this used to be like, all right, this is how it's happening, like that he's like actually, and some people probably still do feel that way, but it's like imagine living in a time where that was just the status quo, like if you fuck up this then we can't guarantee that you're getting there, bro. Yeah. Like you might get stuck in purgatory or something.
even when we're talking about people that were like dead ass like during like the witch trials, essentially like excommunicated from their families had they like not go. Like it meant so much more to humans.
Even then,
Americans in the past. Like I'm talking exactly. Even in like recent
wasn't
times.
Too long
yeah,
ago.
I'm talking about recently. Like
even for when that happened, it was kind of like savage and weird.
Like if you didn't wear your best clothes to that Catholic sounding like cult like ritual you're describing with like sage and shit. Like if you didn't wear your best clothes, you were like a vagabond considered like.
Oh yeah, it was so much more serious.
It's wild.
And like stained glass, the fact that they had these crazy expensive stained glass windows, and it's like there were certain shades of glass that you could only get from certain regions, and they would like guard the secret of like making blue glass and shit like that.
It's wild.
And that's why stained glass windows used to mean such a thing. But then now I'm in this church, it's like a big ass fake stained glass window. Yeah. It's like damn. And like the robe that he's wearing with all this gold, probably back in the day would be like the most that must have cost so much money. Now it's made in China and it's like costs as much as a scrub probably.
Right.
Like it's just everything's.
It's all about money, man. It's all about capital.
That's very true.
It's
the
so
church is running out. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. Sometimes
how rich is the church? How powerful is the church?
It depends on what church. I mean, like. The Vatican is like a
Vatican
is like a city state, dude.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they have their own like police and investigate like.
Yeah, and their police wear like some crazy feather hat or something.
It's amazing we still like allow that. Like like
we should go bring them freedom.
Well, it is crazy. Like we're obviously for good reason like opposed to like ISIS establishing a caliphate, but like isn't that what the Vatican is?
Yeah,
for like
bring freedom to that region.
For like
with drones.
Obviously, ISIS is a heinous group, but like Catholic, it's not like Catholics are out here like supporting progressive 21st century values either.
That's very true. I mean,
and we just
the current pope. What if they like the next pope is the opposite of the current pope, and he's just like super duper right wing? What do you think that would have a?
It would probably branch out to Catholics at large. Like I think a lot.
Would it bring more people to the Catholic Church? Because I don't think having a super liberal one is going to bring anyone to the Catholic Church. Because it's like you're talking to people who don't and are not going to just start believing in Catholicism of all religions.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
like,
true.
They need to be conservative because all of their is built off ridiculous dogmas and like stupid like rituals.
Right, like you would make the argument that appointing like a liberal type pope is like damaging to the growth of the religion. Yeah.
You need one who's down with all the. They've had some popes though. There's been some bad
hot
ones.
Take. They're all. I said that.
That is a hot take.
Yo, I wanna speaking of animals, because we were talking about carrier pigeons, and we were talking about the Pope.
And the Pope's animal, yeah.
Let's talk about something funny and uplifting. We're probably coming towards the end of the show. Yo, how do you, if you could be any animal in a zoo, which animal would you choose to be?
Ooh, good question.
You can make the argument that life already kind of sucks, because you're in a zoo.
Yeah.
But, like, which zoo animal you think has the most lit experience? Like, which animal do you think is the most cool with being in a zoo? Like, essentially.
I feel like it's probably pretty zoo dependent.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd have to say, boom, right off the top, exclude all water animals.
Yeah, fuck that. Being a water animal in a zoo would be awful.
Awful.
Like a whale or something. That would probably be the worst existence of a captive animal.
So even like a fish in an aquarium?
Yeah, fish in an aquarium would suck. That'd be the worst, dude.
Yeah.
Probably, honestly, like a monkey of some kind or a gorilla where they just leave you stacks of bananas.
Yeah.
There's other gorillas around. Like
you're kind of ambivalent to the
it's
idea of people. They don't really make you too uncomfortable.
Yeah, because you're kind of like them in a way, maybe. I don't know how gorillas. I mean, they did Harambe dirty, but
super dirty.
Yeah, I feel like a gorilla would probably have the easiest life.
That's not a bad take.
Who's gonna fuck with you? Like the zookeepers are not gonna.
Yeah, but true.
Like they.
I also think grazing animals probably have it pretty good.
But I feel like they want more space. Like I feel like a gorilla might be more okay with a sedentary existence with everything provided for it.
Primates, really.
Yeah, primates in general. That's why I said like any monkey would probably be pretty cool.
Damn.
Like a giraffe would suck.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't get enough space to be a giraffe.
I mean, a giraffe's just a tall horse.
Okay.
Are you saying that horses kept in stables and regular...
A giraffe is not a tall horse.
Okay. I would die on that hill that they essentially are long-necked horses and that can live similar lifestyles.
First of all, a giraffe can't do shit for people next to look cool. I can't ride a giraffe. A giraffe is not going to pull anything.
I think the jury is still deliberating. Still deliberating if you can actually ride a giraffe.
Into combat on a giraffe.
Can we YouTube guy rides giraffe and just superimpose a video, hopefully, of some video on YouTube of somebody riding a giraffe, bro?
I mean, I'm sure you can, but they don't.
Well, I mean, like, you could definitely...
There has to be, like, people don't ride zebras because they can reach back and bite you. A giraffe can probably do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn, I actually didn't think about the visual image of somebody riding a zebra and having to fend off it turning around in an attempt to bite you.
Yeah, no, that's why they don't ride
that. Like
zebras.
A giraffe could probably like do the thing where like they reach their neck around and like pick you up by the back collar of your shirt and like put you off of them or just
just put you in a tree.
Dude, people ride elephants and who can definitely reach around and pick you up with their trunks.
Elephants are more intelligent. You engage in a mutual thing with the elephant where you are feeding it.
And so you're insulting the giraffe's intelligence by saying this type of bond could not be established. They don't have the mental capacity to respect humankind and get respect
so
back.
You hear about people riding elephants. You don't hear about people riding giraffes. I'm just saying there's probably a reason. People don't ride hippos
just
either.
The logistics of it.
Like
no one's
You think the logistics of a giraffe are harder than the logistics of an elephant?
Yeah. Yeah, for the simple fact that I feel like a giraffe, properly, you need some sort of altered saddle. It's not like you could just throw a blanket over it and hop on. Which an elephant, you can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can, bro. Just like an elephant, a little...
You have to climb on top of it.
But you don't need a saddle. The saddle is a custom piece of equipment.
How are you going to control the elephant without... You need to, like, attach harnesses to
grabbing the tips of its ears.
Oh,
tugging on the right ear to go right.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't ride horses. Also, I would love a horse, though. Like, if I could afford and maintain a horse, I would buy one. I feel like it'd be dope to bond with a horse. That's
probably true.
I've been playing too much Red Dead. Too much Red Dead, bro. I need to chill out. Way too much Red Dead to actually think
just start taking a horse everywhere.
Yeah.
Are there places you can't take a horse?
I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say hopefully there's a constitutional amendment defending horse
like
riding anyway. Yeah, some old, like where you have to, when you open up to the page in like the law books, you have to like blow the dust off.
I hope there's a book somewhere in the White House that's just like the law. And it's just like you open it, it's every single law.
Exactly, and on page 398 there's a small fine print thing that says you can just pull up with a horse anywhere.
It's like no blowjobs from like 1802.
Yeah.
The fucking Puritan times.
Exactly. Damn. We should probably end there. We're riding horses. We're talking about riding a horse at this point.
Yeah. And you couldn't ride giraffes. We probably could. I'll grant it.
Honestly, we already found a video. There's already been a video played here of some guy. Dude, we ride bulls.
No, they can't.
We ride bulls, and you're going to make the argument that we can't ride a docile giraffe. We get on raging bulls and attempt to stay on.
I bet they just sit down. I bet their legs can't handle it. And they just sit down. Llamas, you can't really ride llamas too much.
So you don't think a giraffe could hold an extra 100?
I'm not saying it can't.
Pounds?
I'm just saying it's not going to put up with you and it'll just sit down. What are you going to do? It's a giraffe.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, it's so weird how, like, giraffes don't have horns, but they have those, like, bony stubs. Like having one of those swung at you at a high velocity.
That's how you ride. You got to tie two things to and be like
That is such a funny visual, dude, of like having the reins so high up on his head.
Or you just have a crazy saddle so you're at level with its head and you're like all the way up there.
Also, its neck is probably so strong that like if it like jolted its head forward and you were holding the reins tied to its horns, bro.
You're gone, dude.
You're Supermaning that hoe like Soulja Boy.
Yo!
We should end right there, dude.
Yeah.
This podcast has devolved into something completely different than what it was originally set out to be. Shout out to you for watching and checking in with us. Next episode, we'll be back with new topics, guests. We're gonna start having guests on the show. It should be super lit. Shout out to everyone at WCTV. Trip off riding giraffes, bro. I really got nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else.